Hey guys, Chef Jojo with ECO, and on this episode of Shift Drink, we're going to talk about what are you going to have to sacrifice to become a chef. And as always, we're going to talk about this subject over a drink. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. You know, I interact with a lot of you guys on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, and somebody posed the question to me, they would like for me to talk about what you have to sacrifice to become a chef. And for me, that's a hard question. That is such a hard question to talk about because it's really nowadays it's different. Nowadays I really feel like there's a different mindset. There's a different group of people that are coming into the restaurant industry. And I know what I did. I know what I sacrificed. And to this day, I still sacrifice. But here, we're going to go at this two different ways. There isn't a huge amount of sacrifice that you're going to have to make to be a chef. But there's a huge amount of sacrifice that you're going to have to give for doing what you love. I mean, there's a certain part of doing something really well that takes an enormous amount of time. And even doing it at the top of the game, it's still a sacrifice. You're still going to miss something, right? You can't do it all. And I think that I've struggled with this for such a long time. Like, did I miss too much? Did I left too much behind? I think I did. I really do. I think I sacrificed too much sometimes. But here, things are changing. Back then, and I think still today, it depends on who you work for and how old they are and what they think. There is this mindset that, you give up everything to be a chef. Well, you kind of are going to have to do that for some part of this business. Here's the deal. We work nights, weekends, and holidays. That's when people eat, unless you run a breakfast joint. Now, if you want to be a baker, you're going to work mornings. Unless you're going to work nights and leave early in the morning. Everything comes with a price. It's pretty simple, right? You want to play at the top of the food chain? It comes with a price. But what are you willing to give up? See, that's the difference. I think I was willing to give up whatever it took. And that's where it gets really fucked up. That's where it gets really hard. That's where you make poor decisions and you lose yourself in the sacrifice. And you talk to others and you ask them, what is it going to take to become a chef? Well, what kind of chef do you want to be? What kind of restaurant are you going to work at, or a hotel? Or, I have a friend that works in a hospital and he's completely happy. I have a friend that works in a BNI account at Snapchat. And we're going to talk to Paul soon on a Leave It on the Line. Monday through Friday, holidays off. He does breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2,000 people, and they crush him. And he's happy. So it's not nights and weekends for him. He's off nights and weekends. But he has to be there at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So what kind of sacrifice are you going to have to make? First and foremost, what kind of chef do you want to be? What kind of cook do you want to be? If you want to come in and punch a clock, you're not going to have to sacrifice that much. You're going to work on nights and weekends, and you're going to make your $12 to $17 an hour, or whatever it is, or less, or more. Recently somebody posted on my 20 things, which, is still, I guess, a big deal on YouTube, and that's like a generalization. He's like, it's not like this in all the restaurants. I get 3 days off a week, and I work in a 3-star Michelin restaurant outside London. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. This is a generalization on top of all the things. It's just a relatable list that I wanted to talk about, and I thought it was funny. Is it always the truth? No. But what are you going to sacrifice? That's a great question. I know what I sacrificed. A lot. Would I change it? I would change a lot of things, but I don't know if it would put me in the same. I don't know if it would put me in the same position. You know, we post, Chef Paul's articles, and God, he's such a good writer. Check him out. We post a lot of his stuff on our Facebook page. It's Harvest America. And there's tons of books written about the sacrifice of what chefs do and how hard it is and how many hours you put in. That's on you too. That's on the chef that runs it. I have a dear friend, and man, this chef is at the restaurant all the time. He will never leave. If he leaves, it falls apart. So he's stuck. He's stuck at this restaurant where it's all week long. There's another emergency. And you can see it tear and fray and rip. And time waits on nobody. Time waits on no human, if you will. And how do you... There's so many of people, if you go on our Facebook page and you scroll through some of the comments, there's always somebody that says, I gave up the chef life 5 years ago and I'm so happy, I'm making more money, yada yada. And it's funny because they still follow us and they still say shit on Facebook. And I think to myself, if you really are so happy, what the hell are you doing following me or us? We're a family-run business that sells t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts for the culinary and restaurant industry. And you're still following us. So you can talk shit about how happy you are? Please. That's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. That's you trying to justify something that has nothing to do with us that do this for a living. Man, the one thing that finishes that list off is that the 20 things is the fact that if you really love it, you're always going to do it. And, there's people that make comments on our Facebook page. You know what they say? They're like, oh, I had to get out because my hips didn't work and I still miss it. Or I got out so I could see my kids grow up. I just can't wait till I get back in. My kids, like the oldest, I missed a lot. I did what I could. Just like my father and did what he could for following his dreams, right? There's always a moment where you have to regret, but if you follow Gary Vee enough, sometimes you're not supposed to apologize for being the true person that you are. I'm the most blessed person out there because of my wife, my partner. Because she knows that this is who I am, and she stood by me through thick and thin and hell and high water and made sure that she was really there for me all the time and this family. So make sure that the sacrifice, you have people supporting you, because you are going to sacrifice. I've missed birthdays. I've missed wedding anniversaries. I've missed things that I shouldn't have missed in school. I wouldn't say graduations, but teacher nights and all that stuff, because we don't work a 9 to 5. You know what we work? We work when we're needed. And that's where it gets, I think that's the big what if. When are you needed? We don't work 9 to 5. We work when we're needed. And typically, what I've encountered, people that are successful in this business or stay in it long enough, they need the business as much as the business needs them. There's been many a times that people have made the decision, hell, I've even made the decision, I'm going to stay for this party just in case anything goes wrong, I'm here. And I've missed things that I shouldn't have. I've worked longer than I needed to. Now, there were times when I had to come home, have dinner, feed the kids, put them to bed, and go back to work so I could figure out bigger and better and long term, and knew it was going to pay off. I knew in the long run it would pay off, the sacrifice. I'm here to tell you right now, everything that I sacrificed over the past 18, 19 years has paid off in the last I don't know, the last 6 since we've come to Honda Center. Like I worked my whole career for this job to get the opportunity to work with great people and build a company, a food and beverage company for an arena where I have 2-3 restaurants, I have a sweets menu, I have concessions, I have everything to keep my crazy brain busy. And I need that. Hell, and I need ECO. I need this drive where I'm learning and trying to find out different ways to communicate and push our industry and check on our industry and make sure that that's there. All of that's a sacrifice. It is. Like this crazy dumbass idea to have t-shirts for chefs. I mean, I know what it was like when I was searching to find anybody that had a shirt in 2009 and 10. There was nobody. There was Stove Monkey. There's people now that think they're their original, but they aren't. I know when I started this, and I know it was out there. And I'll put it plain and simple. When I started this, I wanted it to be something that when you put on one of our shirts, when you were Extreme Culinary Outfitters, and you put that shirt on with Chef ECO staring over that cityscape with the 4 stars behind it, that you knew that we knew the sacrifice that you made to follow your journey. And people getting into the industry or starting in the culinary school and all of that stuff, is it worth the debt? Is it worth... That's on you to figure out your journey. But I can promise you that if you don't work hard, if you don't sacrifice, if you don't push yourself, even when you don't want to get out of bed to go there, and I'm not talking about working in a shitty environment where you're not learning. What I'm talking about is when your body is like, man, I don't know if I can go in one more day. And you pick yourself up and you're like, I'm going in, I'm going to do my job, I'm going to fix this, and it's going to be right. It will pay off if you map it out. If you're not a martyr. And I think I think we're really good at being martyrs in our industry. Like, I remember like being sick and still showing up to work. And it's like, oh, you better be sick or dead. And when I mean sick, like almost dead if you're going to call out from work. Man, that's no way to live, right? So what are you going to sacrifice? You need to figure out what you're going to sacrifice, but I promise you, if you don't sacrifice anything, it's not going to be worth it. It's just not. And I think that's why I love the industry. Because the industry only cares. The industry only cares about results. And results come when you work hard and you make sure that you're making a difference. So what are you going to sacrifice? You're going to sacrifice what it takes to get you to the next level so you can be what you want to be. I mean, I've been doing this long enough to know that not everybody's cut out to make it or cut out to do it. And, you know, I'm never going to be the chef that's on Chef's Table. I'm never going to be the chef that gets 3 Michelin stars at an arena. That would be cool, though, if I got 1, right? But I know who I am, I know what I'm good at, and I know what I sacrificed to get here. Just map it out and put a plan together. Don't sacrifice yourself to get to the long run completely. It ain't all that. But you know that steel sharpens steel. You have to push yourself. You have to make sure that you're still practicing your craft and you're learning and all of that. You're going to miss some stuff. Just make sure you're missing it for the right reasons. And when you're home or when you're with the people that you've sacrificed being away from, be in the moment. And that's the one thing I screwed up the most with, never being in the moment. Wasn't here until just recently. I've really realized how much you can miss if you don't be in the moment, if you're not in the moment. And I know this one's a little interesting, right? Because like, what does it sacrifice? Like, oh, you're going to work nights, weekends, and you're going to give up your whole life to be a chef. You don't have to. But just know that it's going to take longer. Like my journey with ECO and the t-shirt, it's going to take a little bit longer because I'm still a working chef and a father of 4 and a husband, and Gina's still the partner and wife that does everything that this family needs to happen. And, during a busy time, you might not see us as much, or we're not able to do as much. And we know that journey is the journey that we take because we're willing to sacrifice something to get a little bit further or a little bit behind. Weigh it all out, put it on a list, and follow it. And if you need any type of advice or anything whatsoever, just reach out to us, because I know the mistakes I've made and I don't want you to make the same. So you can reach out to us or follow us on YouTube, and you can hit that bell and you'll find out when I'm going to post another shift drink. Or you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat, Twitter. Snapchat and Twitter I need to get a little bit better at, but Instagram, Facebook for sure. Hit us up on anything. As always, I'm Chef JoJo, and until next time, cheers.